I sail from a cove where the warm trade winds blow and the silver blue dolphins glide, where the rum's always strong and the nights run long and the tide is a thief at your side. When the moon's riding high and the lanterns are low and the waves start to shimmer bright, come aboard, cast away, let the sea have its say on another Caribbean night. Caribbean nights, like Caribbean days, more often than not, they're wilder than not, in the boldest of ways. Caribbean nights, neath Caribbean stars. Oh, rogue with a grin, could win or give in, out there past the bars. Oh, the drums on the shore keep a whispering lore of the captains who never came home, and the gulls overhead cry of treasure and dread, where the reefs hide a kingdom of bone. But the breeze tastes the spice and the gamble feels right when your heart's set on freedom's bite. Raise a toast, stake your claim, let the world know your name on another Caribbean night. Caribbean nights. Caribbean nights. Oh, I sail from a cove where the warm trade winds blow and the silver blue dolphins glide, where the rum's always strong and the nights run long and the tide is a thief at your side. When the moon's riding high and the lanterns are low and the waves start to shimmer bright, come aboard, cast away, let the sea have its say on another Caribbean night. Caribbean nights, like Caribbean days, more often than not, they're wilder than not, in the boldest of ways. Caribbean nights, neath Caribbean stars. Oh, rogue with a grin, could win or give in, out there past the bars. The shore keep a whispering lore of the captains who never came home, and the gulls overhead cry of treasure and dread, where the reefs hide a kingdom of bone. But the breeze tastes the spice and the gamble feels right when your heart's set on freedom's bite. Raise a toast, stake your claim, let the world know your name on another Caribbean night. Caribbean nights. Caribbean nights.
When I started this project, I didn't realize how much of an undertaking it would really be. It's been a learning process, to say the least, but we're almost ready for launch. My team and I wanted to make sure that all of our ducks were in a row before we really got started. All of that said, the Discord is officially live, and I will begin sending out invites via the GoFundMe page messaging system. If you're one of the amazing people who donated to the pre-launch GoFundMe campaign, which is still up, by the way, You'll get a private message from me over the course of the next few days. The GoFundMe is still accepting contributions. Meanwhile, our art director Thatch and I are finalizing the layout of the Kickstarter page, reward tiers, and stretch goals so we can finish what's needed to launch the official Kickstarter. And remember, if you donate to the GoFundMe page, you get your name on a special thank you page in the book, as well as access to the Discord to help us build it. Thank you all very much for your donations, encouragement, and kind words. We're gonna make something awesome.
Absolutely, we're going to make something awesome. And don't forget, May 22nd through the 24th, 2026, in New London, North Carolina, I will be at Norseforged Gathering 6 with a lot of people. What is Norseforged Gathering 6? It's a community of gamers, D&Ders, crafters, influencers. We have things for everybody. It's just fun. It's a group of nerds who wanted to get together and have fun at a Ren Fair, but they wanted to create their own Ren Fair. So that's what it is. And we're back for our 45th episode. Little spoiler, it's Spaghetti, Cameron, Carpenter, Westerns today. So, that being said, my name is Captain Bartholomew Bones McCoy, or the Pirate Archaeologist, or the Rogue Pirate Archaeologist, or the Rogue Thief Pirate Archaeologist, however you may know me. I'm also known as Chris, one of the founding members of the Council of Chris's, and this is Rogue Bard Advice, a D&D, TTRPG, archaeology, sports, everything nerdcast. We do it once a week, Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern Time currently, but that's only because I'm in the East Coast. Otherwise, it'd be 9 p.m. Central. It is 9 p.m. Central anyway. It's 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Pacific. Pacific. I like that. Pacific. I want to welcome everybody in the chat. I want to welcome in the Pirate Wife. I want to welcome in Kevin and Kirk and Ruby and Ron, and I saw Jim. I want to welcome in everybody. Thank you all for joining. I could not do this podcast without you because it is an interactive podcast. I mean, I could do the podcast without you. It'd just be me speaking, and who wants to hear that all the time? I know the Pirate Wife doesn't. But anyway, welcome in. Yes, all hail the Chris's. And that is from Puffy Cheeto. She is also an honorary member of the Council of Chris. Kevin likes the new theme song. You like the way they say Caribbean sounds weird, but I like the overall song? Well, there's many different ways to say Caribbean. Caribbean, Caribou. Now that's not how you say Caribbean, but you get my drift. Thank you, Jim. It is pretty awesome. And you know what? I have to push it out there. I give all props to the music generation powers of Sono. Now, I created the lyrics. I just put it in Sono, and that's what it spit out. So, thanks to the Bard Father for introducing us to Sono. And thanks for the Bard Father. All hail the Bard Father for giving me this platform to do what he used to do. With that being said, the Bard Father is doing well. I haven't talked to him in a week, but he's probably reeling from the fact that his Jags were defeated on the gridiron, as were the Houston Texans, which I'm pretty sure Puffy Cheeto is happy about that. But yeah, no. I didn't want to be picky about it, Kirk. I like it, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be specific. With that being said, yes, it is going to be a cold weekend all around, and if you're up in the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, those states up there, I think, and I think Canada. I think you guys are the ones who have a larger than small % chance of exploding trees. You laugh maniacally about the Texans losing. Look, I was wanting the Texans to beat New England, but I also wanted the Bills to beat Buffalo, or to beat the Broncos. So that would be River. And unfortunately, River is no longer part of the podcast. He's no longer part of the Discord. He pulled himself out about 8 months ago. So, but yeah, that's who. That's who is always on Chaz about AI. But yeah. With that being said, we have a full slate of questions tonight. 7 to be exact. We hope he's doing well too, but I think he left for personal reasons and he didn't want to discuss it. So we didn't. But let's get into question 1. Actually, you know what? I have 5 questions. No, 6 questions, not 7. 6 questions. Because we still have the advertisement in the middle. The break advertisement. So let's go on to question number 1. And the question number 1 comes from our very good friend and Council of Chris member, Puffy Cheeto. And she would like to know if I could live as a character in any video game that has been made, what game would I live in and what character would I be and why? Well, Puffy Cheeto, I had a thought about this, and we're not going back. We're going back to the question. No. The character that I would absolutely play as or live as in any video game would be Nathan Drake. And the video game series would be Uncharted. Why? Because when you boil it all down, Nathan Drake is nothing more than a bloody pirate. He's a finder of antiquities and treasures. He's a rogue. He's a bloody pirate. Plain and simple. That's it. And I absolutely love the Uncharted movie. Mark Wahlberg played a great Nathan Drake. I'm just waiting for Uncharted 2 to come out. They are making it. It's taking a while. But if you in the chat would like to answer this question, go ahead and answer it in the chat. Send me a message on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, if you haven't joined the Discord and you're new to the podcast and you're watching it, that's when it's not live, please send me an email to Rogue Bard Advice, and I'll post that at the backside, and I will get you a link to the Discord so you can join the Discord. Because we have fun at the Discord. We have a whole day of fun leading up to the podcast, and we have polls that you can take part in that affect the podcast, and yeah, we have fun. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and share this podcast out so we can get more people out in. We did have a few people come in last week from outside. We had Military Fox was here. Yes, Kevin, I did fix it because there was only that there was. I changed it from the single answer to multiple answers, so it was changed that same night. Sorry, you did not get a chance to vote, but you can still get a chance to vote. I don't think it's going to change much, but you can still get a chance to vote. Puffy Cheeto doesn't play video games, but she tried her hand at Hogwarts Legacy. Didn't go that well, but I would absolutely live in that world, either that or somewhere in the Assassin's Creed universe. Nice. I respect the Assassin's Creed universe. Respect the Hogwarts Legacy. Although, Puffy Cheeto, you might not like this, but I think you would be in Hogwarts. I think you would be Ravenclaw. I don't think you're Hufflepuff. I don't think you're sneaky enough to be Slytherin. And as much as you would like to probably be Gryffindor, I think you fit better in Ravenclaw. Because you're smart. Slytherin all the way. A Cheeto after me own rogue. Kirk plays a ton of No Man's Sky. Maybe that. Fly spaceships, build homes, explore space, etc. Kirk, I got you. I like that. I haven't played No Man's Sky yet. I've been trying to find a game, and maybe you can hit me up offline, or in the Discord. I'm trying to find a game similar to what Freelancer was. And if y'all know what Freelancer is, it's a Microsoft game from way back in the day. But yeah, no, that's Uncharted, the Uncharted universe, so I can find stuff. And I feel the Uncharted universe is a little better than the Indiana Jones universe because I think it just is. Even though I like Indiana Jones, I have the hat around here somewhere. I feel that the Uncharted universe is a better universe to get stuck in. It's more modern. Let's put it that way. Kirk vaguely recalls Freelancer. I'll look into it, refresh my memory. Yeah, tell me if No Man's Sky is like Freelancer. I'd like to check that out sometime. But, Puffy Cheeto, I hope that answers your question. And I hope you understand a little bit more about me. But we do have a large slate ahead of us, and we have to continue moving on. Our next question comes to us from Jim, from our good friend Jim, otherwise in the chat known as Don Bluth. Though he's not the Don Bluth. It'd be better if he was. Welcome in, Teeny. I did see you creep in. But Jim asks, in TV shows, movies, and novels, there have been stories where bones are discovered while excavating. Well, let's rephrase that. While excavating a site for construction, where the foreman is notified and tries covering it up so they can continue, since they are under pressure to complete construction. News gets out, and investigators, archaeologists are brought in, and they discover a burial site, and construction is halted. Makes for great entertainment. But has an attempted cover-up like that ever actually happened? Well, Jim, I am glad that you asked me this question in this sort of way. And I do have an answer for you. And it's probably not an answer that you're expecting, but an answer that you'd appreciate. So back before Section 106 was created, Section 110, all the archaeology laws were created back in the 60s. Construction companies were just absolutely destroying archaeological sites. just building and destroying and not caring. There weren't any rules or regulations regarding any of it. But since, and there wasn't any cover-ups. They were just, there was no rules or regulations to it. But since there has been no cover-ups of anything, most of the time, you're absolutely right. While it is a hindrance to the construction of whatever it is they are building, they do follow the laws. They do have to notify the proper authorities. There is an investigation. Sometimes it's an ancient burial site. Sometimes it's a modern burial site where somebody was murdered. But to answer this question better, I direct you to a friend of mine, if you have the TikTok. His name is ArchaeoWolf, and he actually did a posting on this recently because there was an instance where, and it was recent, like in the last 2 months recent. Teeny can cue me up on this. There was an incident where an archaeological monitor, which is something that I do when we're building, like we're having a construction company dig holes to put in power poles and stuff like that. They were using an auger, a giant 72-inch auger bit, and they they hit a burial site. Well, one of the crew members of this group started taking photos and started taking videos. And the foreman covered up the site so that it couldn't be videotaped and everything else. Immediately called the authorities and immediately fired the crew member who was taking photos and videos of it, because that is completely against laws and regulations, and disrespecting to the Native American tribe. Yeah, that guy, Teeny. That guy. So we'll get into that in a minute, Kevin. I'll explain that. So yeah, while it does make for great entertainment, cover-ups don't happen, mainly because of the penalties for all of that. The minimum penalty for anything like that is something in the neighborhood of like $100,000 and 5 years in jail. Not or, and. And if you are looting a site or are excavating a site without a permit, and we call that an archaeological records or an Archaeological Resources Protection Act permit, or ARPA permit, you can get up to $100,000 fine and 25 years in jail. So the penalties for doing something like that outweigh the, hey, we're under a gun here to complete this construction. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's an answer that you appreciate. Maybe not an answer that you expected, but I hope that it's an answer that you appreciate. Now, to Kevin's question in the chat. There's a reason that poll had Kurt Russell on there twice. Because it was a multiple answer poll. You could vote for all of them. But Jack Burton and Snake Plissken were both Kurt Russell characters. I don't care which Kurt Russell character or which Kurt Russell you voted for. What I did was I matched up the Kurt Russells by percentage and matched them up with the similar percentage of character. So that poll ended up being a 60-40 split for, well, we'll get to them, and we'll get to our deadly dungeon at the end. So yeah, absolutely, Jim. Absolutely. Thank you for the question. That was a great question. And Teeny, did I do a good job of explaining it? Did I do a Archeo Wolf job of explaining it? And while we're waiting on that,
hello. So I've been planning a game for
have you now?
many years, creating my own world from the theology up, theology down.
Theology down, for religion down. That's always good.
I've been trying to get a game together. I've managed to get 5 players.
Yes, you did. It's myself, Archeo Pirate, Archeo Wolf, Calm Down, Catherine, and Popo Blanco. Now, Catherine being your girlfriend's kind of
every time I get things rolling,
a go-to, but
my body tries to
inflammation around the heart, that's not good.
Yeah. Generally,
We need to keep your stress level down.
Part of the Rockies Regional Medical Center.
I can't, Kirk.
So our first game was supposed to be this Saturday.
That's all the way up,
This Saturday,
and it's how I recorded it.
Probably, I'm gonna try and power through, and we're going to. I want to do a test run of my internet capabilities and see if I can get things sorted on the stream. But yeah, I've got a D&D game that I'm gonna run for.
Basically, what he's saying is we've got a D&D game coming up, and he's been putting it together for a year, for quite a while. We were supposed to start last week, but last week ended up turning into a test session
because of
to see if his internet would handle it.
heart problems.
Next week, or this weekend, one of our players is helping his dad move,
Every time I get sick, my heart decides.
and so we're not going to start until the 31st of January. So join us all over on the Twitch.
I'm looking forward to playing this game. I'm looking forward to running this game because I'm actually the DM and I'm terrible at advertising.
He's terrible at advertising, so I did it for him.
So the 17th is going to be our introduction.
But yeah, if I could get him to record this to send me the
information,
raw file, I might be able to edit it,
I don't think we're actually.
or I might be able to edit it
into
in my
session,
CapCut and
But it's going to be introduction to characters.
get the volume up.
things
But
like that. And I'm genuinely hoping that that we can draw enough interest to help out some of.
Teeny is excited for this game.
Because
Come out and view it. It's gonna be great. We're trying to monetize it because some of the people here, not myself, but some of the other people here are wanting to try and use this as a money builder. And with that, we're trying to do something like Critical Role. So we're going to be doing all of this online. We're going to be doing it
at this
here,
tag
Military Fox on Twitch, with all of us,
playing,
and it's
D&D.
at the times listed here.
Hello.
So, Popo is hilariously chaotic. So is Calm Down, and Calm Down is actually no panic button. And he is hilarious. Between Archeo Wolf and myself, I think we're gonna have a great banter. Well, all of us are gonna have great banter, and we're, like I said, we're trying to do something like Critical Role. This is where Critical Role started. So if we can do that, then maybe these layoffs that are happening in my organization won't matter to me so much. But you and Twitch have a hate-hate relationship. Well, I am sorry to hear that. I had the same volume problem with Bard Father's Sunday Sono live stream thing, which he's been on lately. volume half of what other YouTube's. Yeah, it's an issue. And the Bard Fathers hasn't been anywhere because he's been moving. And he's getting settled in at the farm, basically. But yeah, no, he went to his father-in-law's house because his father-in-law passed away, and they moved into there so they can save on rent and everything else. So yeah, he's been quite busy. So hubby's job had layoffs this week. Luckily, he didn't get cut, but it was an out of the blue thing. It's getting rough out there. Yeah. Though they paused, my agency paused the layoffs this week in response to the possible 4 winter storms that are currently going on right now. So, hats off for the Bard Fathers loss. Yes, it was, wasn't it around October last year? August, September, October, something like that. It was quite towards the end of the year. It's a streaming service for gamers, Pirate Wife. Anyway, moving on to the next question. Because, like I said, we have rough November's ago too. Yeah. Where were we at? Were we at 4? We were at 4. And this comes from Kirk. And Kirk, by the way, you had questions in the bank from Sunday and Tuesday, and then you sent this on Thursday. So it's not late. You just had everything in the bank. Congratulations. And you even said that. Congratulations to you for being early. Now, I didn't correct your spelling on this. I just copied and pasted it from my email. So anyway, I've been getting a lot of nonsense messages from people who claim the earth is flat. Well, maybe you should stop listening to these nonsense people. But it makes me wonder, when did a human society first determine the earth is a sphere? How did they determine that? Well, Kirk, I had to do some research on this because I thought it was one thing, and come to find out it was even further back than that. So, quick timeline here. 6th to 5th centuries BCE. Pythagoreans proposed a spherical earth on philosophical aesthetic grounds. Why it mattered? Because the early intellectual claim it was not yet empirical. 4th century BCE. Aristotle gives observational arguments, lunar eclipse, shadows, ship's hull, first, different stars at different latitudes. The ship's hull first is the ship's hull disappears first at the horizon line. So as it's going down, you're seeing less and less and less of the ship. If the earth was flat, you'd still see the same ship, it'd just be getting smaller instead of just disappearing. Circa 240 BCE, Eratosthenes measures the Earth's circumference using sun angles at 2 cities and distance between them. Classical medieval eras, knowledge spreads throughout the Hellenistic, Roman, and Islamic scholarships. And then finally, in 1519 to 1522, current era, Magellan and Elcano circumnavigation provides a practical global circumference. Literally, they pointed here, we're leaving here, we're going this way, we're coming back here. How long did we go? How they actually determined it. Lunar eclipses, the Earth's shadow on the moon, is always circular. Only a sphere always casts a circular shadow regardless of orientation. Aristotle emphasized this as strong evidence. Ships in horizon, observers saw mass appear before hulls when ships were approached. Conversely, hulls disappear first when the ships sail away, consistent with a curvature. Aristotle noted this. Stellar changes with latitude. Different constellations are visible at different latitudes. Moving north-south changes the altitude of known stars, expected on a curved surface. And Eratosthenes' geometry measured the sun's angle at noon in Sini, which is now Aswan, which is in Egypt, and Alexandria on the summer solstice, using the angular difference and the known distance between cities to compute Earth's circumference. His result was remarkably close. Now, Aswan and Alexandria are a north and south thing. So he was actually measuring the curvature this way, not the curvature east and west. He was measuring it north and south. And then educated people in many ancient societies accepted a spherical Earth long before the age of exploration. The flat Earth in the Middle Ages myth is largely a modern misunderstanding, and that was come from everybody thought that the sun revolved around the Earth, and there's no way that the Earth could be spherical. Blah blah blah. But yeah, no, it's a fallacy. The Earth is spherical. Actually, the Earth isn't even spherical. To be precise, the Earth is a little oblongy shape. It's almost pear-shaped spherical. To be precise, it's not a perfect sphere. It looks like a perfect sphere because that's how we interpret the roundness of it. But it's quite not perfectly spherical. Yes, Earth is a spheroid with a spare tire belly, but not just a spare tire belly. It's actually, if you cut a bowling ball open and you notice the core of the bowling ball, you've got a smaller core, you've got a larger piece of the core, but it looks like a pear. That's kind of what Earth's center core looks like, but not so pear-shaped. It's oblongy. Larger spherical side on the bottom, smaller sphere, a little at the top, just to adjust the sphere shape out. Still sphere shape. Earth is an egg. Yes, could be, but not an egg from Melmac or where was freaking Orc. Not an egg from Orc. Well, I don't know. Did Alf come to Earth in an egg? Because that was Melmac. Mork came to Earth in an egg, but Mork was from Orc. I don't know. Maybe that's something we get into next week. Yeah, we're parish. Nanu. We are more shaped like an overfilled jelly donut. Yes. Thank you, Genetic Memory Farms. You thought Earth was an egg to spawn a celestial, but they shipped it or stopped it from being born. Maybe. Oh, but we got 20 minutes and we've got 3 more questions. Question 5 of the evening comes from our good friend Puffy Cheeto again. Puffy Cheeto gave me a lot of questions I had to choose. And trust me, Puffy, I am getting to one of your questions. It's quite nuanced, and it's going to take a while for me to formulate it, but I've got it. I've got the answer. But for this question, if my character retired, what would they do during retirement? Now, are you talking about my rogue character? Or are you talking about my pirate character? Or what character are you talking about? Because absolutely, My rogue character. Before I tell you my rogue character, there was a man, and I'm not going to give the name of the man just yet, because I'm pretty sure there are people in the chat who know of this man. But this man was one of the world's greatest criminals. Like, from like the age of 12. And when he retired from his life of criminally, and it was forced retirement because they put him in prison, he went to go teach. He went to go teach his specific brand of criminality so that other criminals could get caught. That individual was Frank Abagnale Jr., and you might know him from the movie that was loosely based on all of this called Catch Me If You Can. No, Frank Abagnale Jr. went on, after he retired, to teach his brand of criminality to the FBI so that they could be better prepared to catch criminals doing what he was doing. He then went on to be a public speaker, and I think he even taught lectures as a former criminal, as a former felon, went on to teach lectures at Harvard or MIT or one of the schools up there or something. But that's absolutely what my rogue character would do. Would go and wouldn't teach how to be caught or how to catch criminals. No, my rogue character would go teach the other rogues how to be roguish. So, whichever character I wanted, well, I would. My pirate character would absolutely do the same thing. He would teach fellow nautical people how to pirate. Retirement? You mean dead? Spend their time trying to escape the underworld. That's fair, Ron. Jay Gold, the railroad magnate. I'll have to figure out who that is. I've retired 2 D&D characters. The first, a hobbit. Yes, playing early D&D this was. I didn't say what he did, but the second, a halfling, is doing carpentry in a small village. It's the first habit, a burglar. The first hobbit, a burglar. Jim, I wish I could have what's going on with Jim. I missed something. Doesn't the celestial? We just had donuts delivered 30 minutes ago. I'll send you on. Oh, been out of work for over a year. I am sorry to hear that, Jim. I am sorry to hear that. Yeah, exactly. Glad your wife is still working, Jim. Yeah, I know. Anyway, I hope, Puffy, that answer pleased you. It was fun. It was a fun exercise in figuring out what I want to do in retirement. And we'll get more on that in a minute because we got a special question coming up later. And I used it as the last question. But no, you didn't derail the show. No, we take time off to talk in the chat. Hobbit was indeed a burglar. Got so he could one-shot dragons via sneak attack. He figured nothing was challenged after that. Fair. Anyway, we're going on to question 6. And then immediately on to question 7. But question 6 comes from our good friend Kirk. What do we know about dinosaur brains? Which had the biggest brains? Were their brains similar to modern creatures' brains? Or have brains themselves evolved? And what? No! listen to this. This is my good friend Samuel L. Jackson, and he says, if you say archaeologists dig up dinosaurs once again, you're gonna say what again? Anyway, we're going back. We're going to the live. We're going to live screen for this one. So I have absolutely no idea about dinosaurs, Kurt, because I am an archaeologist. Archaeologists are not paleontologists. We do not dig up dinosaurs, despite what other things we dig up. Now, if we dig up a site and we dig too far down and we have come up with fossils, they aren't necessarily dinosaurs. They're probably deer or bison or stuff like that. However, archaeologists do not dig up dinosaurs, Puffy Cheeto. Anyway, I did get you an answer for this. The answer is brains rarely fossilize. Paleontologists use endocasts, which are natural or CT-derived molds of the brain cavity, to estimate size and shape of brains. Absolute brain size, the largest brains by mass likely belong to the bigger skulled dinosaurs. Large sauropods, large theropods like T-Rex, simply because the skull volume scales with body size. Relative brain size, encephalization, small theropods, including maniraptors and early birds, show a much higher brain-to-body ratio, closer to modern birds, suggesting greater neural investment per body mass. Brain structure, many dinosaur endocasts show enlarged cerebellums and optic lobes in theropods and birds, consistent with advanced sensory processing, balance, and coordination. Modern bird brains are direct evolutionary continuation of these patterns. Endocasts give us the volume and gross shape, but not neuron counts or microcircuitry. Cognitive inferences use comparative anatomy, sensory organ evidence, and behavior proxies. And intelligence is multidimensional. High EQ suggests potential for complex behavior, but is not a direct IQ measure. So when it comes to which had the bigger brain, by body size, your large dinosaurs had the larger brain. But when it comes to, comparatively speaking, brain size to body size by mass, then your larger, your smaller animals had the larger brain. And to your question on if it was an evolutionary thing, evolution continued. Brains evolved in size, folding, and internal wiring after the Mesozoic era, especially in the bird line, avian line. So modern birds and mammal brains show innovations, neocortexes in mammals, pallial reorganization in birds that were not present at the same form in non-avian dinosaurs. But outside of that, I am not an expert of this. That's all I know. Thank you, Puffy Cheeto. Oh, wait. Archaeowolf is in. That's who you were talking to. Paleontology folk get very upset when you treat dinosaur fossils like you with barrels. Welcome in, Archaeowolf. Everybody, this is my good friend Archaeowolf. He is he's an archaeologist like myself. And yeah, he's the one who I got the story from. He's the one who actually did the story on the what we discussed first question or second question. So of what was it? Great. Cover-ups, the TV shows and movies and cover-ups of archaeological burials and stuff. So, yeah. But welcome in, Archeo Wolf. Thank you for joining. And we have a saying here, you're never late. You're a wizard. And wizards only arrive exactly when they mean to. And you did. You arrived at dinosaurs. So, with that being said, we are going to our last question before we enter our deadly dungeon. And the last question comes from the pirate wife. If she's still in here. Pirate wife asks, serious questions for my pirate husband. Several people have asked me on numerous occasions if I knew of any plans of how you are going to live your golden years. So I pose this question to you. What do you envision yourself doing after you find the golden treasure that is not marked with an X? What is your next adventure? Will you sit on a beach with your feet in the sand and a Guinness in your hand watching the sunset? Everybody knows that I have plans on cruising the Caribbean in a 3-masted pirate ship sometime. I have career aspirations past the one I'm in currently. And if I take you were here during the Flat Earth Convo. Nice. If I could take a line from Die Hard, I want to be sitting on a beach earning 20%. So whether it's drinking a Guinness, whether it's cruising the Caribbean, who knows? But yeah, it's probably not what Pirate Wife wants to say, because Pirate Wife can't do the heat and humidity. But yeah, no, it's the Caribbean or bust for me. So you can tell them all that. Maybe rake in royalties from a book, which I'm on chapter 15 of writing it, that is. So bird, reptile brains are human other than mammal brains, have totally different shapes and somewhat different ways they work. So it's very difficult to compare intelligence between the two. Yes. Start fishing the Caribbean for square groupers. Probably. Anyway, it is that time of the stream, everybody. When do you get to hear more from the book? I don't know. I just gave you guys the prologue. I wasn't expecting to read my novel in its entirety on chat, Puffy Cheeto. But I may be coaxed to read a new chapter sometime. Chapter 1 excerpt today. I don't have it pulled up. I would, but I don't have it pulled up right now. Maybe next week, Kevin. But for now, we're going to our Deadly Dungeon. And this week's Deadly Dungeon is brought to you by Spaghetti Westerns, James Cameron, and Carpenter, John Carpenter. We have Kyle Reese versus the Man with No Name. And we have Snake Plissken versus Jack Burton. But really, can we really lose with Kurt Russell? I mean, it's Kurt Russell versus Kurt Russell. So, Kurt Russell. But, as it sits, we will go through the simulation. We did 100 battle simulations for both groups, or for both individuals. Let's see what the Man with No Name brings to the table. He's got a Colt single action army revolver, a 45 caliber, a Winchester lever action rifle, a poncho, exceptional gunslinger reflexes, master level accuracy at medium range, psychological warfare, calm, unreadable, ice cold under pressure. Now, the Man with No Name comes from a fistful of dollars, for a few dollars more, and finally the good, the bad, the ugly. His strengths are lightning fast draw speed, He's deadly accurate, exceptional composure and timing, skilled at using cover and terrain, and can hit moving targets at ease. His weaknesses: his 6-shot revolver has a slow reload. He's got no automatic weapons. He's got no armor, limited experience against modern tactics, and if caught in sustained fire, he's outgunned. And then we go to Kyle Reese. Terminator 1984. His weapons and gear are a 12-gauge shotgun. He's got pipe bombs. He's got a .45 caliber pistol when available. He's got a combat knife. He's got trench coat for concealment. He's got military training in urban guerrilla warfare. And he's got a high pain tolerance and desperation-driven aggression. He's a trained soldier with tactical discipline. Shotgun is devastating at close range. Pipe bombs give him area denial and ambush capability. He's used to fighting Terminators, so he's fearless under pressure. He's good at using darkness, cover, and improvised traps. His weakness: his shotgun has a slow rate of fire. He's got limited ammo. He's got no long-range weaponry. His injuries accumulate quickly. He's less precise than a gunslinger in a pure duel. With that being said, out of 100 battle simulations, the man with no name wins 59% of the time with superior draw speed, long-range accuracy, and the ability to kill before Reese closes. Kyle Reese only wins 41% of the times. Shotgun kills in close quarters, pipe bombs forcing movement, and guerrilla ambushes. The man with no name is has unmatched gunslinger reflexes and long-range precision give him the edge in most engagements. If he sees Reese first, the fight ends instantly. When Reese manages to close the distance, use darkness, or force the man with no name into confined spaces, the shotgun and pipe bombs turn the tide fast. It's a tight matchup, but the gunslingers' draw speed and accuracy ultimately carry the day. So with that being said, you guys voted unanimously for the man with no name. Sorry, Kyle Reese does not move forward. The next battle is even better for everybody because no matter who moves forward, Kurt Russell wins. You didn't see the poll for this fight, only saw the one for Kurt Russell duel. Scroll too far down or not enough. It was the first one. And then I put the poll up for the Kurt Russell battle, and then I had to change the Kurt Russell battle, so you might have missed it. Kyle Reese should win everything except for duels or wide open terrain. Yep, and no, he comes from Yojimbo from Akira Kurosawa. Yes, that's where the man from no name originated, but the spaghetti westerns that Clint Eastwood did took all of that and Americanized it. But moving on to Snake Plissken versus Jack Burton. Now, I have no idea. I'm a bad cinephile. I have never seen Big Trouble in Little China. I think I get Big Trouble in Little China a lot of the times confused with Tu Wong Fu. But I know that's Patrick Swayze and not Kurt Russell. So, yeah, I know. Anyway. Competitor profiles. Jack Burton. Let's go with Jack Burton first. He's a loudmouth, semi-competent, and occasionally lucky trucker who somehow survives supernatural chaos. What he brings to the table: Tech 9 Mac 10 style submachine gun, a combat knife, Throwing knife, his signature lucky shot. Flash grenades occasionally, heavy boots, leather jacket, sheer dumb luck, and chaotic survivability. Sounds similar to Snake Plissken. Surprisingly good reflexes when it counts, high pain tolerance, luck factor, can improvise under pressure, has fought supernatural threats and live. Snake Plissken, not so much supernatural threats. His weaknesses: he's not a trained soldier. He's got poor tactical discipline. He's got mediocre accuracy, relies heavily on luck and momentum, and is easily distracted and overconfident. Whereas Snake Plissken, the hardened, cynical ex-Special Forces commando turned outlaw, the anti-hero archetype. Weapons and gear: he's also got a silent submachine gun, a scoped revolver, throwing knives, explosives, body armor vest, grappling gear, and a tactical stealth suit. His strengths are an elite military training, exceptional accuracy and stealth, cold, methodical, and ruthless, skilled in hand-to-hand combat, high situation awareness, zero hesitation. His weaknesses: he's mortal, he's got no supernatural boosts, he's got limited ammo, his cynicism can lead to risky decisions, and he's not invulnerable to lucky hits. How does this work out in on the battlefield? Well, Snake Plissken wins out 76% of the time with superior training, accuracy, stealth, and tactical discipline. Where Jack Burton only wins 24% of the time with his lucky shots, chaotic movement, close quarters, SMG bursts. Jack Burton likes to spray and pray. Snake has elite training, precision shooting, and cold tactical mindset give him the decisive advantage over Jack's chaotic, luck-driven style. Plain and simple. And that's what we actually have here when you guys did it in the Discord. Kyle Reese won the Discord 33%. My algorithm gave him 41%. You guys gave the man with no name 67%. The algorithm gave him 59%. Jack Burton, Discord 40%, algorithm 24%. Snake Plissken, Discord 60%, algorithm 76%. But it's Kurt Russell v. Kurt Russell, so Kurt Russell gets 100%. So compensating with one eye beats out having great hair. Yes, absolutely. Plissken's a trucker too. Didn't know that. Plissken, did I say Plissken was a trucker? I didn't think I said Plissken was a trucker, but he could be. But yeah, no, Plissken's a trucker. If he's Kurt Russell, he's Kurt Russell, and Kurt Russell's Kurt Russell. Anyway, that is that. However, that is not all for tonight, everybody. Because we still have our Wheel of Morality coming up. Oh, and we also have to look at our bracket. So this is what our bracket looks like. We have Flash Gordon has moved forward. The Man with No Name moved forward. Snake Plissken moved forward. Sarah Connor has moved forward. Oh, no, I was saying they both had leather jackets and stuff. Wheel of Morality, spin. Oh, you know what? Thank you for that, Jim, because it's not the morality. I just figured out what it's going to be. It's the Wheel of Mortality. Wheel of Mortality. Turn. Tell us the fighter who we should burn. So let's go there. Wheel of Mortality. Turn. Tell us the fighters who we should burn. Next week's first matchup is going to be Jason Bourne versus Steve Austin, the $6 million man. That's quite interesting. That is really quite interesting. We will have fun with that one. And the next one, since we do 2 a week, Wheel of Morality, turn. Who is the next 2? Who we should burn? Jack Ryan versus Chuck Norris. So Jason Bourne, Jack Ryan, CIA versus the indomitable Chuck Norris and Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. I like it. No one can beat Chuck Norris. It's a law. Poor Jack. Okay, so here's the thing. This Jack Ryan, there has been 4 Jack Ryans, or 5 Jack Ryans. Alec Baldwin in Hunt for Red October. Harrison Ford in Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games. Ben Affleck in the one with the nukes, and John Krasinski in the Jack Ryan TV series. So, with that being said, this Jack Ryan is the greatest Jack Ryan of all time, and it's Harrison Ford Jack Ryan. So, Chuck Norris doesn't automatically win because Jackie Chan is on the win too, or is on the board too. Poor Harrison Ford. That's okay. Harrison Ford's on the list 3 times. Harrison Ford's on the list as Han Solo. Harrison Ford's on the list as President. What's his name? Jack. I'm reading the wheel. You know what? Why don't I just go back to our bracket? Oh, President John Marshall. President Marshall from Air Force One. And obviously he's Jack Ryan. So that's what we've got. So as soon as we get done here, I will put these. Actually, you know what? I will put them in the Discord poll right now. Create a poll. Deadly Dungeon, Week 3, Battle 1. And that is Jason Bourne versus $6 Million Man. And the poll goes for a week. And posted. And create a poll. Harrison Ford and Chuck Norris. Boom. Both polls are up in the Discord right now. We are live on the Discord. We can't kick one of the eventual final combatants off. It wouldn't be fair. Could Jackie Chan get drunk first Otherwise, I'd have to go with Chuck. So let's just skip everything and do Jackie Chan versus Chuck Norris. Real life Chuck would have a chance versus Jack Ryan, and any other version of Chuck wouldn't even need to try. Can we just have Ryan versus someone else so they have a chance? You guys wanted Chuck Norris on the list. Like, that was like a dead. Chuck Norris has to be on the list. So I put Chuck Norris on the list. Not my fault. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show. It's Chat Chat. And we're having fun. So let's do good things of the week. Good things of the week for the Pirate Archaeologist is they paused the firings of my agency for now. So Chuck should be the final boss, though. Chuck may be the final boss. Who knows? Let's see. Let's see what bracket Chuck is in. Chuck Norris is in this bottom bracket, so he's gonna have to fight Lara Croft, Brian Mills, Thomas Magnum, James Bond, Martin Riggs, who is that? He's in a tough bracket. Let's see. I want to go to... So this is Chuck Norris's bracket. Lara Croft, Brian Mills, Jack Ryan, himself, Ashley J. Williams, Thomas Magnum, Martin Riggs, and James Bond. So with that being said, good thing of the week, I came up with a question and got it answered. Good thing of the week, a kid in wrestling made it to district finals. Woo! And this is a year after she broke her wrist, right? Went to doctor this week, found out I need to have a hysterectomy. Oh, that stinks. That's not a good thing of the week. Yeah, I really liked Jim's question today. It was great. The weather right now is awesome. The memories from growing up upstate New York. You can keep it, dear. You can keep it. I don't like the snow. It's going to be freezing cold here this weekend, and it's going to be in the 40s all next week. But wish I had my other coat. But this coat's fine. With that being said, I don't think Chuck Norris is going to go further than you guys think, based on who else is in that same bracket as him. So, Teeny finally got new wipers on the Pathfinder, just in time for Snowmageddon. Yep. And you can share that Snowmageddon with Kirk. I'm pretty sure he's going to love it. Hour and 15 minutes, everybody. We are just blowing through these things. This is phenomenal. We're at 45 episodes, everybody. 5 more, we'll be halfway to 100. We'll be halfway through what the Bard Father did. There are stores here, yes, but it's Florida, dear. They don't have my big giant green coat that I wanted with the fur. Grateful to have gotten through the week and got to be here tonight. Well, we're grateful for you to be here, Kevin. Would have voted Burton over Norris just because Burton would win via some hilarious accident. Probably. Bonus, good thing of the week. A wild Archaeo wolf appeared. Yes, that was a bonus. That was a bonus. And we're glad to have him. And we hope to have him more in the future. Because I eventually want to do this as maybe have guests come on and answer questions and stuff like that. So, who knows? With that being said, we are now at the end of the show tonight. And I would like to thank everybody for coming in tonight. I could not do this show without you guys. As always, you guys are the lifeblood of this show. So please continue to send me your questions at roguebardadvice@gmail.com, and I will continue to do my best at answering them. I might bring in players of the D&D game as guests, Kirk. Depends on if they want to join or not. But yeah, this has been a great episode of Rogue Bard Advice, and I hope to see you guys next week. Same rogue time, same rogue channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join our Discord. Good night to everybody from the South, and hope everybody this weekend has a stays warm and safe and stays away from the exploding trees and everything. And as always, take what you want, give nothing back, and stick to the pirate's code. And the pirate's code being, if you get left behind, or if you stay behind, you get left behind. I am your host, the Rogue Pirate Archaeologist, Captain Bartholomew Bones McCoy, Chris, or just Pirate. This has been another episode of Rogue Bard Advice, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a nice day, and don't let the rum go.